Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel. I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another video which is a little bit impromptu. I hope you don't have epilepsy. Probably should have done a warning there before it started. But the reason I'm doing a video is because the Champions League draw has been drawn, and I just thought that the punditry was a little bit patronising towards the Premier League teams and how they're definitely going to go through. I think we've seen that this year when it comes to football, both in the Premier League. All right, I'm getting too much now. Stop it. That's right. Pulling my hand away. There's been, I don't know, I just feel like we're getting a bit big for our boots here. And actually, I think within the Champions League itself, we've already seen a lot of instances where teams need to sort of show the opposition a little bit more respect. Of course, there is that huge divide between the haves and the have-nots in the Champions League. And that's the Champions League in its financial nutshell. The fact that it just gently allows these teams to fly off into a financial heaven, or hell if you're Barcelona. But anyway, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to have a look at these games. And yeah, I'll give you some predictions at the end of it, but I just kind of want to talk about the big storylines, because I just felt like they were sort of missing something here. And we could have a look at the standings as well, just see where these teams are at, because I think the draw overall, let's be honest, this is the other thing, is that actually the draw is a little bit boring. Right now it is a little bit boring, because I think you do feel like there is this distance between the teams that won their groups and then the teams that finished second, and you've seen that be reflected in these draws. But actually there are some really interesting games in here, which of course we will get to. Now, Gladbach against Man City is the first one. Again, I don't want to go too harsh on all the punditry, but they were saying, oh, Man City, delighted with that. Easy game. It's not an easy game. It's not an easy game. For those guys to get through the group that they got through, I think was, it says a hell of a lot. A hell of a lot. Where are they? Look at that. They've knocked out Inter Milan and Shakhtar Donetsk. Shakhtar Donetsk, of course, beat Real Madrid twice. Real Madrid just about got out of the group. So Gladbach are a good side. So playing against Man City, that is not an easy game for them. They're not going to walk through it. And we've seen this how many times now with Man City that they do trip up. And Gladbach, in the way that they play, there's no reason why they can't stop them. So I just wanted to highlight all of this stuff, right? Next up. So that is not an easy game for Man City as well, especially going into it if, you know, Man City are still struggling to break down teams like they have done in the past. Maybe with the style of Gladbach, it gives them an opportunity to sort of beat them. Whereas Man City against a lot of teams, and you saw it recently, you know, if you do just stand off at them, they have struggled to break teams down a little bit recently. But it's by no means a far-gone conclusion. Lazio versus Bayern Munich. Now, look, this is one where I do see it kind of being quite cut and dry, to be honest. Bayern Munich, you know, top their group. Latio, a good side, but I just feel like Bayern Munich are probably the best team in the world by quite a way, especially when you look at the injury problems of a team that's close to them in Liverpool, the sluggishness of Man City at the moment, the difficulties that Real Madrid and Barcelona are having at the moment. Bayern Munich are by far and away the best team in world football for me. So I think that's an easy one. I think they're going to go through on that one. This is the one where I was getting a little bit annoyed, was with Atletico Madrid against Chelsea. Atletico Madrid have just won their last 4 games on the trot. Now I know obviously form will change, but all the pundits were going, yeah, well, we know Atletico Madrid is stubborn. What else can we say about them? Stubborn? That's fine. But yeah, but Chelsea will be fine. Why will they be fine? Why on earth will they be fine in this game? That is a horrible tie for Chelsea to go into. Okay, the great thing that they've got, which they obviously deserve by topping their group, is that they get the second leg at home. You hope that fans are back in the ground by that point, and that's going to make a massive difference for them. But I would call this a 50-50 game, right? Chelsea, with the chemistry that they're sort of slowly building into the team. Yes, they've probably got a bit more depth than Atletico Madrid, but this is a 50-50 for me. João Felix is getting better and better by the minute. Suarez has gone into that team and is seamlessly stepped into it and is scoring goals again. They, you know how stubborn they are defensively as well. So I just think, I actually put Atletico Madrid favourites in that one, if I'm honest, because Chelsea aren't there yet. They've still got a lot of players that don't have the sort of Champions League belief, right? They haven't been in teams that have gone that whole way, all the way to a final or anything like that. It's really early days for them. Of course, Lampard has as a player, but not as a manager. So I'm just blown away by the fact that Atletico aren't favourites for this one. Surely favourites for this one. Let me know in the comments below who you see winning that one. I just think they've got so much more guile and experience than Chelsea. For me, there's no way that Chelsea are favourites going into that game. Of course, Chelsea can win that game. Not favourites. Next up, another English team, Liverpool playing Leipzig. Now, Leipzig will be interesting to see how they will have strengthened by the time that this game comes around. And Szoboszlai has been linked with them, who has already played against Liverpool, of course, for RB Salzburg. So it'll be interesting to see if they get him and if he's able to make an impact for them. I still think they're a little bit away from where they were when they had Werner in the side, but they're still a good team. And again, they were able to get out of that group. Man United, to be honest, I don't think I even gave Leipzig the respect they probably deserved for the first half performance, because I personally felt that Man United was so poor. I did a video reacting to it, and for me the big thing was the tactics from Solskjaer that just sort of played into Leipzig's hands. I think this is in terms of a style matchup, this is a bit of a nightmare for Leipzig, to be honest. So I would expect Liverpool to get through. That said, the consistent centre-back problems that Liverpool seem to have at the moment, it really could be a problem, especially in a title race where they really are having to push and they are at the bare bones. So it'll be interesting to see who's back by then. I don't think any of those, Matip is always one that you kind of, you wrap him in cotton wool and it's still not going to work for you. Joe Gomez, I think it'd be surprised if he's back by then. Any of these, Van Dijk, of course, as well. So the centre-back situation is going to be a problem as well. And of course, are Liverpool going to go out and buy that centre-back that they might have bought anyway in the summer, but they're going to go and do it now? So they might do that. A lot hangs in the balance with this one, but I do expect obviously Liverpool to make it through if their centre-back options are sorted out by then. And also I think it comes down to the confidence of the team, because I do think that it is going to slowly chip away at them, the fact that they are struggling so much with their centre-backs. You can't be proud about that. It's just a fact that, like, again and again and again, they've had such bad luck when it comes to those injuries that it's got to weigh down on you at some point. And so do they go out and get it done, get themselves that centre-back that's going to make them feel good? Upamecano will obviously be amazing for them, but can we see that happening? And again, with all of these, let me know as well in the comments. What's the deal with players that have already played in the Champions League? Does that get wiped up when we get to the knockouts or not? I presume you can't do that. So that makes it difficult for Liverpool as well. Porto versus Juventus. It could be a little bit of surprise here. You've always got to be careful with Porto. Juventus, they're not really themselves at the moment. By this point, maybe Pirlo's got his feet under the table a little bit more. And let's remember, of course, with those groups, Juventus finishing, I thought it was top, finished top above Barcelona, having beaten them in that last game 3-0. But of course, in the league, they have been struggling a little bit as well. Porto are no mugs. They really are no mugs at all. So again, it's a tough one, but I do expect Juventus to make it through that one. And Ronaldo really desperately wants that Champions League with Juventus. So obviously he'll be pulling out the stops there. So they'll be pleased with that draw. Now we come to the big one. Barcelona versus Paris Saint-Germain. What a tie this will be, because you may have a situation here where Messi has already signed. This could happen, has already signed for Paris Saint-Germain. Neymar going to the reporters recently, going, I'd love to play with Messi, like from nowhere. No one really even asking about that whole situation. And Messi, of course, is fed up. He wants to leave. I think Barcelona actually are getting to a point where they want him to leave now, because they've said already they're going to have to ask him to take a wage cut if he wants to stay at the club, because of the financial ruin that Barcelona are in at the moment. And that's even before we start talking about matters on the pitch, where Barcelona are really, really struggling at the moment. To be honest, they probably, with the redevelopment that they need of this team at this moment in time, they maybe should have even just sort of cut their losses with Messi in the summer. I mean, that's a hot take, but let me know what you think about that one as well. But this game, for me, is obviously the tie of the round. The 6-1 back in the day, which is absolutely insane. Of course, Messi and Neymar will both be playing in this game. I expect Paris Saint-Germain to win this one, I'll be honest, because I think the cloud that's hanging over Barcelona, I think, will continue. And with their league form being as poor as it is, they'll go into this game probably struggling, unless they can start to kind of catch fire, which I think they're really struggling with Ansu Fati missing, with Griezmann and Dembele always being a bit hot and cold and not really having that chemistry with Lionel Messi. Paris Saint-Germain, when they have to really step up for games, to be honest and to be fair to them, with the pressure that is under that football club and the players involved, they do generally step up. And so I think actually Paris Saint-Germain will win that one. Next up, Sevilla Dortmund, which again, it's a good tie right now. But when it comes to January, it's going to be so interesting to see how those two teams shape up, because you've got two teams there that could actually get a little bit raided in January. Koundé, the centre-back for Sevilla, is someone that I think a lot of teams have been looking at, with sort of the dearth of quality centre-backs, certainly in the Premier League, it feels like at the moment. So I know Man United have been looking at him, and you just don't know how many of those players are going to get taken out of there. And more importantly, the same goes for Dortmund. Favre is gone, so who's the new manager? And if the new manager comes in, what does this mean for these star players? Because I think they've probably held on to likes of Sancho and more sort of dug their heels in a little bit more, because of the fact that they really wanted to have a real push at the Bundesliga this year, and it doesn't feel like it's happening at the moment. Obviously, it's difficult because Bayern Munich is so good, but Haaland, that clause in his contract, our team's just going to spend the money and get him. If you do that, you take away such a striker for that team, and all of a sudden you've got two kind of weak teams all of a sudden. But for me, I think Haaland will still be there. I think a lot of people are going to be careful. It might be one where the Premier League teams, like you saw with Chelsea a little bit, they're going to kind of throw their money out a little bit more, just because the Premier League is a stronger financial structure than the other leagues in Europe. So maybe it will get done, because maybe a team like Man United goes, right, we've got the cash, let's just get it, let's just pay for it now. Will Haaland go there? Of course, with his dad being ex-Leeds and all that stuff, we don't know. But I just think a lot of those star players, same goes for Sancho. Is he going to go as well in January? We will find out, of course, soon enough. And Atalanta versus Real Madrid, again, talking about that respect, that was the one I think that triggered me to make this video, was that Atalanta, I don't think, got any respect at all from Liverpool in the game that they lost to Atalanta. People like Gomez, I love to watch. The whole team, I really enjoy watching them. And they're a good side. And they've caused trouble in the past with different teams and went on a great run in the Champions League last season. So be careful with them, because Real Madrid, I think they normally kind of find their groove, and I think they will continue to do so. I think as things calm down, I think we were hoping that. But at this point, Eden Hazard is fit and available and playing well and scoring goals, and then once that's happening, then you've got yourself a team that can really start to kind of really believe that they might be able to do something in the Champions League. But at the moment, certainly from the group stage showing, they seemed lethargic, a little bit arrogant, and they got it handed to them a couple of times, and somehow I don't really know how they won that group. So again, my final point to make is that these games are not done and dusted. No way. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. Here are mine. So I do think Man City will make it through that one, but I think that could be a shock, because there is always one shock. Bayern Munich, I expect to get through. I think Atletico Madrid will actually teach Chelsea a bit of a lesson when it comes to the Champions League in that one. Liverpool, I do expect to get through. Got a funny feeling about Porto. Juventus haven't totally been at it just yet, but I guess with Ronaldo, big time player, it'd be dangerous for me to not say that Juventus make it through, especially having the home leg second. Paris Saint-Germain, for me, I think will win that one against Barcelona. I'm going to stick with Dortmund, just based on the fact that obviously the players that they have in their hand right now. And Atalanta versus Real Madrid, that again could be one of those shocks. We will see, but probably. I'm going to go Real Madrid. I do expect Real Madrid to go through, but I don't think any of these games are going to be as easy as people expect. So who's going to provide the shock? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It really, really helps me and the channel. And if you really want to help the channel, then let's get ourselves to 60K. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time.